I am Makoto. Good morning. I am going to talk about our Perl and Raku Foundation summer activities in the past 10 years. And I want to get community feedback what to do next year and going forward. So here's a talk summary. Half of my talk is about what we did in the past 10 years, but in summary, we hire intern every summer, and then they work on Perl and Raku projects. It is good because we get new community member and we develop new things, and then they add new value. However, there is some cost associated. So I want to get community feedback on what to do next year. A bit of terminology. When I say summer, and some people are not happy because in the southern hemisphere, it is winter actually. So by summer, I am trying to say somewhere between May and August. When we say TPRF, the Perl and Raku Foundation, I also mean TPF or TRF. Yes, they are the same entity, different name. They are just aliases. Let's get into the point. This is what we do every summer. Depends on year, things are different, but we do outreachy of almost every year. And then we participate in Google Summer of Code. And we also did Google Season of Docs in 2021. So let's take a look at each one of them one by one. Go ahead, Mohammed.
I've been following this Outreachy internship since 2020. I've noticed only one particular project being assigned every year, which is open food fact. Is there any possibility we can take any other project, not just one project every year?
Okay, so the question was for Outreachy, I think I am going to answer a bit, but we are open to suggestions. The question was what we did in the recent years and can we get more than one next year? And I am going to answer that question in a second. Before that, what is Outreachy? Outreachy is a nonprofit who works with us and they give paid internship to a intern. Program is typically 3 months, somewhere between May and August. Outreachy selects 35 organizations, and we are one of them. Outreachy focuses on diversity open source, and originally they were focusing on women, but now they hire from diverse categories of diversity. So what did we do in the past years? Here is what we did. Besides 2022, we hired one intern. In 2022, we hired 2 interns. And in 2022, we had 2 projects. And obviously, it is summer right now, and Mona Lisa is working on Perl project as a part of the Outreachy program. And there's a blog post if you follow News Perl Foundation org. And I will come back to your question after part 1. The next one is Google Summer of Code. Similar to Outreachy, Google pays people to develop open source software. The pay is somewhere between $1,500 to $6,000 US, depending on project size and also the person's location. The length is 3 months or longer, and they hire 200 organizations. The difference with Outreachy is pay is a bit different, but major difference is Google they select interns and they pay interns. Outreachy, we select with Outreachy and we pay. What means naturally is Google Summer of Code has harder project selection process, which I will discuss later. So what did we do? 2019 is the last year we participated. And in 2019, we did a bunch of Power 6 projects with 4 students. And last one, I want to also talk about Google Season of Docs. It is very specific to docs, as the name says. We hire somebody to improve documentation, open source documentation. Pay is somewhere between 3,000 to 9,000. We hire a technical writer, and then they spend 5 months, and then they improve open source software doc. And in 2021, we were one of the 15 organizations who got selected. And then Kawa worked on Perl documentation. So that's the overview. So summary. We do these things, Outreachy, Google Summer of Code, Season of Docs every summer. Sometimes one of them, sometimes multiple of them, but we try to do them. Outreachy, intern, student. We pay, the Perl Raku Foundation pays. Google Summer of Code, they don't have to be a student. It may be somebody between the jobs. And it is also paid, and the difference is it is paid by Google. Google Season of Docs, we hire a writer, and then it is paid by Google. So that's part one. Before we speak about next year, any questions so far? Good. Go ahead.
Are there other programs that we considered in the past but have decided not to apply for, or are these all the ones that we considered?
The question is, are there any other programs we considered in the past and didn't do it? Actually, that's a good question. I don't have the answer. I took over them from the previous person like 4 years ago. And it was everything we had on the table. And actually, if everybody knows other similar program, then I am happy to work on that. Thank you. So, thank you. Next one, next part two. Now, it is your turn. I want to get community feedback on these things. Just to set context. Outreachy, we did it in the past 4 years, and sometimes 2 people, but almost always 1 person. Google Summer of Code, we did in 2019, and then sad fact is 2023 and 2021, we applied and we got rejected. It is a popular program. Google Season of Docs, there were no applicant on our side. We couldn't find a mentor who can help somebody who is working on the doc. So in the first part, it was about what community achieved. And here is about what we have to do. So it is a benefit versus cost discussion. It is a cost we have to pay. Outreachy, somebody has to do mentor, and also we pay money. Google Summer of Code, somebody has to do mentor, and also we have to write a super good proposal to get selected. Google Season of Docs, same, we have to do mentorship, and we have to find a writer. So, bit of cost.
What makes a super good proposal? What makes a good proposal versus a bad one?
That's a good question. The question is, what makes a good proposal? That's a difficult one because I think we have to discuss offline because I can share successful proposal and failed proposal, but obviously I don't want to make it public. So if you want to discuss, I can share what we did in the past and what went good, what went well, and what didn't. Benefit. I will open a discussion in a minute, but benefit, obviously, new people, marketing, then interns have fun, and then they get paid, and ideally they stay in the community. And cost, I spoke about it. We have to come up with project ideas and then mentorship, and then we pay money, and then, so let me pause here, your turn. I would like to get your feedback. Some questions, but you can share any ideas. But my questions to you, community, is: should we continue, and how can we get more projects and mentors? And goes back to your point. Why cannot we have two? We can if we have enough project ideas and mentors. If anything, what prevents you from becoming a mentor? And overall, how can we do better? So, your turn. Open to the floor.
I think we should continue. That's my opinion.
Now it is difficult. Okay, let me repeat for the recording. One person said we should continue. But then my question to you is, how can we get more help from the community? Because obviously, right, somebody has to virtually, remotely sit down with intern, these people 5 days a week, or no, 5 hours a week, or even more.
In my personal opinion, giving away 5 hours a week is not a big thing. So if somebody is running a project, he or she should be able to give 5 hours a week. In my personal opinion.
So the answer, I think you can come here if you like. Don't be shy. And the answer is, 5 hours a week is not a big deal. Somebody should be able to do it. But the question is, right, question from me is, we couldn't find more than one person this year. Is it our marketing issue, or is it everybody is professional and everybody is busy doing something in summer? Go ahead.
What's the technical expertise of a mentor? How, what exactly would they be doing? What level do they need to be at to mentor somebody?
All right. Question is, what is the expectation for the mentor? What kind of expertise do they need? So, obviously, right. So we are teaching them something. So, if you look at here, then the first one is implementing Chinese encoding for Perl 6. So I think the mentor was somebody who is somewhat familiar with the topic. Topic meaning Chinese encoding and also Perl 6. Or if we go back to here, the person, let's look at her profile. The person did not know too much about Perl, so the mentor was somebody who was able to teach intern Perl. Go ahead.
So this is both a question and potentially a thought. The question is, am I correct that for at least Outreachy and maybe for the other programs, it's appropriate to apply for someone to work on an open source project that is not like core Perl or core Raku, but it's just Perl or Raku project? Is that correct?
The question is, so what do they work on? Perl core, Raku core, or any other Perl program? I don't think, from my view, from my standpoint, we don't have to limit. But naturally, improving Perl core is a huge work for somebody who is new to Perl and then only 3 months. So naturally, it is something like develop specific application, improve specific module, something like that. But I don't think we have restriction.
Well, if we are that open, I guess I wonder if we can do more to reach out to module maintainers and make the case to them that even if you are thinking about it just from the perspective of your module, you know, if you spend 5 hours a week and have somebody hack on your module or whatever you're the maintainer of, you know, because I'm not sure people realize that they could get more work done on the packages that they're maintaining by participating in this and having either Google or TPRF pay for somebody else to hack on whatever they're the maintainer for. So maybe we can do more to reach out to maintainers.
Sure. So the opinion, I'm coming back to you in a second, but the opinion was, why don't we reach out to module maintainers? They may not be aware. They can get help from the community intern to improve or maintain their modules. So that's a good feedback. We can reach out more to the module owners, maintainers to see what kind of help, what we can do together. Go ahead.
I'll come up there if you don't mind because.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
I
Come.
don't really have a question for you, but I do have direct experience to help answer the question.
By the way, we have 3 minutes.
Sure. So I did help with the Google Summer of Code several years ago. And at the time, it was all Perl 6 proposals plus one Perl 5 proposal, which was mine. It did go through the initial stages where that I had several potential interns contacting me and talking to me about Perl code and asking me a lot of questions and stuff. In the end, and I can't say why because I'm not involved in the decision process, but Google only approved the Perl 6 projects, which was pretty frustrating or even infuriating because of all the effort that both I and the interns had already put into briefing ourselves and trying to get prepared for this. So they didn't get anything out of it, and Perl 5 didn't get anything out of it. For those of you that only care about Perl 5 and not Raku, you could maybe get even more mad about it, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I will say that to the question about Perl module maintainers and getting more help, my concern is that these are untrained interns, and I hate to say that you're not going to get any useful work out of them, but you would get more useful work out of doing it yourself than the amount of hours you have to put into holding someone else's hand who has no idea what they're doing. The only benefit that you may get is if they choose to go into a Perl career, then you've helped somebody start a Perl career. So in my opinion, the only real reason for someone to want to be a mentor is to try and help people start Perl careers. I don't believe it's going to help anyone get any important code written. I also don't believe that it's a significant financial benefit to anyone because the amounts of money here are so low that it's like, gee whiz, I could go, do some side job and make more money than that. So yeah, I think that it is important to help people start Perl careers, and that's what we should be focused on with these programs. Sorry if that's a conflict of what TPF believes, but that's just my opinion and my experience.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to tag on to what, I don't have any disagreement with what he said, I was just gonna tag on about the income part of it. Different people from different countries, 3,000, 6,000, 9,000 could be a lot of money. So I'm just saying from that point,
Yes, you're right.
That's not a here or there.
It was only from an American salary point of view that I was saying that. For someone in a third world country, this could be a ton of money for them.
Sure.
And that may be more valuable for those people.
Yeah.
All right. So unfortunately, time is up. We have to finish. Somebody's waiting. So let's stop here. If you have further opinions, input, two things. You can come to me, or you can come to today's afternoon session and meet the TPRF board. So let's discuss more, but thank you for input.